Okay, so I got asked about my story and how I became an interpreter. It's starting in 1984 or so. I was working as an auto mechanic. Yes, I know cars. And back then and now, most people don't accept a female mechanic. Don't even get me started. But every day, people would come in the doors and they'd go try to find a guy. But one day, 4 guys came in the door and came right up to me. It just so happened that all 4 of them were deaf, and I was willing to go outside and open their hood and point and gesture and write and figure it out, and they became my clients. And so back then I thought, oh, I should learn some sign and communicate better. And then later it happened again. I had a neighbor who had a teenager who was deaf, and I would see him and say, hi, how are you? With my voice and no sign, and going, so stupid, I need to learn sign. And then fast forward probably 10 years between the 4 guys and me being a mechanic and the day that my brother's dog escaped. And I was driving around searching for the dog. I saw one person. It was like a Tuesday in the middle of the day, so there was no one around. I saw one person, and I pulled over and I put down my window and I asked them if they'd seen a black dog running around. And he pointed his ear, shook his head, indicating he couldn't hear me. And sorry, and I drove away feeling, I was so mad at myself for not knowing the sign for dog. I love dogs. They're the best. And I didn't even know one sign. And I was just so mad with myself. The very next day, my dad offered to put me back into school. I was 36 when I started, and I took my very first ASL class, and I was hooked. When I started, I had never really conversed with a deaf person. My teacher was deaf. I was like, uh-oh. How do you learn? But of course, it's the best way to learn. And I just took a class. I had no idea that there was a profession attached to signing. I just thought it was a cool language I could learn. I'm not good at spoken languages. My son says anytime I try to have an accent, I sound like Grover from Sesame Street. And he's right. So anyway, I took an ASL class. I started hearing about interpreting, and I thought, I feel like I was called to sign language. I really strongly believe that something in my spiritual world was telling me to learn sign. So I was there for a purpose, but I didn't know what the purpose was yet. And so I took ASL 1 and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and then the next most in-depth training was the interpreter training program. So I went ahead and I joined the interpreter training program, and I became an interpreter, never really feeling like interpreting was the deepest reason why I was here. 25 years as an interpreter, I feel like, I'm a good interpreter, yes, and just sounds egotistical, but I am. You probably want that word, right? Egotistical. 2 claw hand shapes off your forehead. Big head, egotistical. And I enjoy interpreting. But this forever connected is my calling. I want to change the world. So that's how I became an interpreter. And now here I am wanting the world to understand that you can make communication visible. So you don't have to rely on hearing, and if you're aging as a senior citizen and your hearing's going, you don't have to struggle, and your family doesn't have to yell. So I'm super passionate about this. I totally feel like it's same with signing with babies. I'm never going to give up the idea of signing with babies. It makes their life better, it makes your life better, it makes the world better. So here I am, 30 years later, finding my passion, and this is it. So join me, please. Help me spread the word. Just share everything you hear from me. Share it at home, share it at work, share it at school, share it on social media, but join me. And thank you for asking, and I'll see you later. Bye.